Well, hello there.
Hello, how are you?
I am amazing. How are you?
I am doing fabulous on this Friday. It's been a great week.
Woo!
Regardless of what's going on, we create our own joy, right?
Let me tell you that. That is the truth right there. You create
Yes,
your reality. You get to choose what your day is
that's
like.
right. Every
Yes,
day.
every day. You look good.
Thank you. Well, you know what? I knew I was coming on your show, so I just couldn't show up any kind of way now. Come on. We got to show up and represent for one another.
That is the truth. You know what? I'm for that. I would do the
Yes.
same thing for you if I was at MogulCon, even though women are invited. If I was at MogulCon, I would do the same thing. Shameless plug.
So I have to tell you this. Yes, women are my target audience, but we have men that come every year because the information is for anybody,
That's a
right?
fact. That's real. Yes.
Yeah. So if you want it, you got to go out and get it.
That's the truth. And, I have found that there are some amazing, dynamic, spectacularly smart women out there who are doing their thing. And I have to say, you are absolutely one of them. Very much so proud of the woman that you are.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
to you. Absolutely. I mean, it's not easy out here these days to
No,
be a Black woman. So, yeah, how
no,
did
it
you
isn't.
at 19 have the courage and the foresight to go and become an entrepreneur while still in college?
Well, I'll tell you, entrepreneurship is in my DNA because everybody in my family, 95% of my family are entrepreneurs.
Mm,
So I never saw anybody going to that 9 to 5,
right.
right? So my father was an entrepreneur. My uncles, who are very instrumental in my life, they were all entrepreneurs. And my muse, who was my great grandmother, Maddie, she was an entrepreneur. Matter of fact,
Mm,
she was a serial entrepreneur. She owned a lot of land in Vine City. She had a hair salon, a daycare center. So she was always that woman that
mm,
I saw doing it. And I mean, doing it well. And she was the first person to say to me, I see something in you, and invested in that.
mm. That's beautiful. And
Yeah.
how do you find, and what would you say to the young woman out there who is struggling to find another positive influence, another female positive influence that will help mentor and shape her? How would you, because you had your grandmother, but what would you speak into her life?
So here's what I want to say. First of all, you have to know what it is that you want for yourself.
Mm,
I know I was blessed, right, to have my great grandmother in my life, and
right.
everybody doesn't have a Maddie in their life. But that's the beauty of what we have here on social media, is that we can seek out the people that we want to be. When I started, coaching wasn't a thing,
Right.
right? People weren't talking about having a coach, a mentor. You just kind of had to get out there and do it on your own. So the first thing you have to do is honestly ask yourself, what is it that I'm looking for in a
Mm,
Maddie, in a mentor? What am I bringing to the table, right? Because
that's good.
when you're looking for a mentor, your mentor, that person that you want to pour into your life, is probably busy, right?
Right.
They're
Right.
they're running their own business, and so you have to look at, what am I bringing to the table that they would
Mm,
want to invest their time, knowledge, and expertise into me.
that's good. Now,
Yeah.
I heard, and tell me if you agree with this, I heard recently, I believe it was from somebody I watched, Gary Vee. He was saying that if you were looking to go after, let's say, an investor or some kind of angel investor, you would ask them for something like, what could I do for you?
Yes.
Where you would now want to invest in what I'm asking from you, instead of just assuming that they would want to invest, actually asking for what
That's
they
right.
want. I think he was saying that a lot of people have an audacity that if I
Yeah.
come to you, you should just say yes. What do
That's
you
so
feel about
true.
that?
So we do live in an age of entitlement,
Mm,
where people think just because they ask. I always say that my generation has to take some responsibility for the generation after us, in that we raise them by telling them, you're great, you're excellent, but not always being honest in that this is what you need to work on. You know
yes.
what? I love you. Yes, you have the potential to be great. Yes, I'm going to, as a parent, I'm going to invest in you. But here's some things you need to work on, because what
Mm,
people are doing is they come out with these expectations, whether it's for an investor or a coach or just anybody, that people are supposed to do things for them. Nobody owes you anything, right?
Right.
You have to be worthy of their attention. You have to be worthy for them to invest in you. And I will tell you, my success over 30 years has been because I provide service and value first before I look for anyone to do anything for me, right? I can't expect you to advocate on my behalf or want to invest in me if you don't even know who I am at the core. If I'm looking to invest in something, because I have invested in businesses in the past, I'm not only looking at the business, but I'm looking at the person who's running the business. I want to know who you are at your core. And if you don't have the ability to serve, if you don't have the core values that align with my core values of service, then I'm not interested in investing time, money, or anything.
That's deep. I see that all the time. And that is actually one of the reasons, looking at some of your stuff, it's helped me from afar, being able to rethink a lot of my strategy, because it is very much so, as a man especially, we are taught to go solve problems and do things. And in teaching, a lot of the people out there are saying, go charge this and get your money. But I am seeing that it is actually easier to give more free content and to serve in your area of expertise before you really ask for anyone to invest in you, because if they buy a product, that's an investment. What do you feel about that?
So I'm all about, content is both king and queen, right? We live in an age, we want to be informed. Like, we're Googling, we're going to YouTube University, we're doing anything and everything to get our hands on information that we feel will take us to the next level. Now, I'm going to switch this up a little bit.
All right.
If I am the expert, right, and I'm coming on to Instagram every day, and I'm giving 5-10 minutes of content, well, it's okay to give away free, but how are you converting those people who are listening to you, who tune in for you? Because sometimes you could be giving away too much information. And so they're just going to wait for you to come on for free, and you're not seeing a return of investment on your time. So we have to think about this in both ways. Yes, I, like you, I come on, I give information, I share information. But as a business owner, I have to think about, if I'm investing, let's say, a total of 1 hour a week live, right? What is that 1 hour worth to me and to my business? And that's where we're falling short, because what we're not doing on the back end is we're not building a real foundation for our business. So those people are coming on free, but how are you actually capturing them? How are you converting them? How are you nurturing them? Because if something were to happen to Instagram today, what would happen to your business?
So is that something where you would recommend like an email opportunity for people to sign on to your email list?
So anybody that knows me knows I'm really big about systems and processes, okay? Which is why I wrote the book, Email Marketing Made Easy. But it is because what I notice in our community is we're not educating ourselves to the full, robust capability of what a customer relationship management system can do for our business. It literally is another stream of income for you.
Wow.
But it takes time, right? You got to put the information in so that you can get what you need out of it. And it's a process, which is why I wrote the Mogul Guide, because I want to that's free, right? That's a free tool that you can use. You can go to mogulguide.com, download it, and you can get all that free information to tell you how to properly sell online. The thing is this: if you want people to invest in you, you have to invest in yourself first.
That's good. That's real. So what is with that? Because I want you to pause right there. That is a key statement and a major thought. So what would be 3 ways that someone could invest in themselves to make that tangible?
Absolutely. So the first thing you want to do is look at the particular industry that you're going into. One thing that we forget to do is to do a market scan, because you want to know how you're going to correctly position yourself in the marketplace, right? So that's one way. Time, that's one investment. Money, I so desperately, I don't care if you coach with me or anybody, but here's what I'm going to tell you. when you invest in a coach, because there are a lot of people who have coach hurt, right? They've
Mm,
hired coaches and they did not do what they promised for them. Look at the coach and make sure that coaching isn't their first business.
that's no, that's
Okay.
all. Now,
And,
why would they need to watch out for that?
and especially when it comes to business development, you want a coach that has a reference point, right? You want a coach that's been in business, that's
Yes.
made money, that's been successful, but who has also made mistakes, because they can lessen your learning curve. They can increase that conversion that you're looking for when it comes to customers, when it comes to cash flow, right? So you've got to do your own homework, right? So for
Mm,
me, 30 years, gosh, I've been an investor. I've built businesses, multi-million-dollar businesses. And guess what? I failed when the market crashed. I had to reinvent myself. I had to look at what is it that I truly want to do that's not just bringing me revenue, but it's also fulfilling the passion that I have for entrepreneurship. Because what people fail to realize is entrepreneurship is a tool. So that's money. So we
mm,
got time and money. The
yes.
other thing that is an investment that people don't think about is the sacrifice piece of it all.
Mm,
You've got to know what you're willing to lose. We always talk about, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to have this fabulous business. I'm going to be an influencer, all of these things. But there is a sacrifice, as you well know, that comes with all of this.
absolutely.
When I'm doing my startup classes, I always talk about, what are you willing to lose? Because
Mm,
I'll tell you what I've lost. I've lost time with my family. There have been times, because when I make a commitment to do something, I'm going to do it. There have been times when I've missed my son's event or my daughter's recital, things of that nature when they were growing up. And I had to compartmentalize, okay? Because there is a mental piece that goes with entrepreneurship. It can be very taxing. So
mm.
we have to be honest with ourselves when we, go out and say, hey, I'm going to start this business. I'm excited about it. What does that really mean? And what are you willing to sacrifice?
That's awesome. What would you say to the person who feels like they're already sacrificing because they're working a full-time job and they
Yes.
are still trying to build their dream and their vision? What is one of your first things that you tell that person that you're coaching?
That is such a great question, because that's the majority of the people who are out here today. They're working a full-time job. So number one, let's start with your mindset,
Mm,
right? If you're always saying, I hate my job, I don't want to do this. First of all, I want you to do one thing for me. Change your mindset.
mm,
I want you to look at that job as your investor, because the job is allowing you to build a business. It's
yes.
giving you the money that you need to invest in yourself. So that's the first thing I want you to do. And I also want you to stop thinking of it as a hustle. See, a hustle is temporary. A
Yes.
hustle isn't getting you to the long term of what it is that you want to accomplish. And the third thing I want you to do is I want you to build a business canvas. We are just coming up with an idea, we're passionate about it, and so we throw something up against the wall and hope that it sticks. But I want you to get a business plan. And if you can't get a full business plan, you can go right to Google and you can download a business canvas. And what this is going to do is show you the 9 areas of your business that you really need to pay attention to in
Wow.
order to be successful.
That's awesome. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Like that's wisdom. The way you frame that, you've said that before. That's clear.
Yeah. And I believe it. I believe it.
Yes.
Only because I've worked with thousands of entrepreneurs over my time. And the one thing that I see is we jump full on into an idea and we haven't done the research. We don't
Mhm.
know how much money it's going to take to truly start this business. And then we become frustrated. We didn't think about time. We didn't think about sacrifice. The little things like you're going to have to probably hire somebody. Because just because you're the visionary doesn't mean that you're the salesperson,
That's
doesn't
it.
mean that you know how to operate technology. There are so many parts to our business, and we're not an expert in every area. I will tell you, I'm successful because I have a team.
Mm,
No empire is built alone.
that's
If
good.
you look at any successful person, they have a team of people who are making things happen behind the scenes, and they get to show up, right? And be an expert at whatever it is they are. Or if they have a product, they get to just go out and talk about that product. But there's a machine that's happening, and that's what creates great empires.
That's brilliant. I can attest to that personally because
Yes.
I do have, as you know, Leslie and Priscilla.
Yes.
They are amazing, and shout out to Tops PR. It is because I chose, and I love to tell the story because when I first invested, because that's what, like you said, that's what it was.
Yes.
When I first invested in them, I didn't feel like I had the resources, but I literally saved up enough for that first month, and I said, God, if I do it now. I, I, I believe that what I'm trying to do now is to help people and that you will push this forward. And as soon as I did that, the very next month, I made more money on my job than I had ever made before. And I was
Yes.
able to comfortably pay the next month.
Yes.
So,
Now I'm going to ask you a question. Did
yeah.
you have a plan, right? So
Oh,
you
yes.
believe, right? You say, I believe, and I prayed about it, and I
Yeah.
asked God, but you had a plan, and that's why you were successful.
Well, I agree with that. I absolutely I had already sat out what my budget was going to be for the next 3 months. And so if I had to eat ramen noodles, I was fine with that.
Right.
But I didn't ever have to do that. And that was the beauty. And I think what you said earlier about sacrifice is so true. Being
Yes.
willing to lessen your life. Um, I was talking with Sammy the other day, the artist, and he was saying the more he gets financially, the less he wants to look like he's really wealthy. Like he wants to be investing in so much and having so many streams of income, having his money in so many different places that he doesn't have to have the range. He can have a regular Jeep because for him, it is about the investment and having the ability to invest in the things that matter. And that is what I see what you're doing because you don't have just one thing you're doing. You have so many things like the U.S. Women's Business Network. Like
Yes.
that is a major thing. That is a thing that you are helping to bring other women into. What was the real thrust of that vision?
And I'm going to tell you what the thrust of the vision, but I don't want to be remiss because you dropped some jewels, right? And I don't want to speed through it because what you said was so important. You said, he said he bought all those things and then he realized
Yes.
that did not really make him successful. That is a mindset, my friend. You have to know that, the money, and I love young people because they'll say, oh, I'll just replace it. I'll make more money.
Right.
It doesn't work like that. Once the money's gone, it's gone. You don't
That
get it
money's
back.
gone.
It's gone, right? And because we've lacked, meaning that from the outside looking in, we're seeing other people who are super successful. So they're driving the Bentleys and the G-Wagons and they're living in the big houses.
Yes.
And so as you're plotting on that come up, you're thinking, hey, when I make my money, this is what I want to do. I'm going to buy that big house. I'm going to get that car. What we need to do before you make the first dollar, you need to get a financial planner. You don't wait until you get the money. It's too late then.
That's good.
Because you don't have a plan for it, right? And I'll tell you, when I'm working with people and I see the money's getting ready to come in, I'll say, listen, I know you've been waiting for this money. We're going to put X amount of dollars aside. You go do what you need to do with that, and that's it. Because we're building for the long haul.
Yes.
The vision, you asked me, what was the vision behind the U.S. Business Women's Network? I'll tell you, I am one that I do not forget the building blocks that have gotten me, right? The obstacles that I faced over the years. And I wanted to create a platform where people didn't feel isolated. Sometimes you join organizations and you don't feel like you fit in or you really don't know your place.
Yes.
What I love about this network is I've seen women who started with me in 2015 and their businesses have grown by leaps and bounds. But the beautiful thing is that they're doing business together. And if you ever get a chance to come to MogulCon, I hope you'll join us this year. The good thing is we're not till November.
Right.
All right. so that gives us some time to kind of clean up this place and get things in order.
That's right.
But the beautiful thing is when I see the women greet each other, right? I've seen women that I know have never been to any event that I've had. And I watch the women that have been there from the beginning. They will go out of their way to greet them, to find out where they're from, what it is that they're doing. And they immediately begin to make introductions. See, the speed of the leader has to determine the speed of the pack. You have to set the example for the people right? So
That's
if I
good.
came in and I had my little clique in the beginning and I just kind of dealt with them, that would permeate the entire organization and it would be a reflection on me. But that is not who I am. I try to create an environment of inclusion. And that's what we've got to do more of, right?
That's
I
good.
understand that. I've been probably at every point an entrepreneur can be in their career. So I know what it feels like to just start a business, want to get the information, want to be included, want to have a good time, right? You're coming out, you don't know anybody, you're feeling nervous. And I want to say this, women probably struggle with that more than anyone, right? Because they're second guessing everything that they're doing. How do I look? Am I presentable? Oh my gosh, everybody here looks really successful. So all these messages are going through their head. And what I've trained, and I have an amazing staff. Shout out to Dion, Casey, Tracy, Sierra, everybody that works.
Shout out.
They have an uncanny ability to make you feel right at home.
That's beautiful.
That's what I'm most proud of. These women, oh my gosh, they keep me calm. They make sure that we always operate in excellence. And it was a person from Chick-fil-A came to MogulCon last year and said, if I didn't know any better, I think your staff had been trained in the Chick-fil-A way. And I thought, wow, this is like the biggest compliment ever.
That is.
Right? And I wanted to say that, and I wanted to shout them out because we have to let people know, as CEOs and as visionaries of our own business, we have to let the people who support us know that we appreciate them. Right? Because
absolutely,
they're the ones that are putting in the work, the long hours, that are doing things that you have no clue about to make your organization run well.
That is
and as
a
a
fact.
leader, you cannot be remiss in recognizing the people that support you.
When did you, thank you for that, because that's very true. There are a lot of people who don't ever even mention that they have a team. And so
Yes.
I think that shows a level of humility, but also just basic kindness. I think in our society, that is something that we are desperately lacking. People need to be the head or the face of something. And I get that, but without, your whole face needs a body in order to exist, right? Like you can be a face, that's fine. But you need some arms and you need some legs.
That's right.
You need the rest of your body to make a cute face in a glass jar is not doing much. I'm just saying that. All right. So I am. How have you been able? Let me actually go a different way. For you starting your team, because there are some people out there now. I had a talk actually with Leslie not long ago. Developing a team. When is it time to bring in the people that are most necessary to help take your business to the next level? How do you know it's time?
Great question. So think about when you first started your business, right? You're almost like the little train that could. You're going up the mountain. You're seeing some success, right? You're making money. People are reaching out to you, but then you plateau. You can't get to everything. You're not getting all the calls. You're not returning all the emails. The product isn't getting out the door. You're not getting to all the speaking engagements that you could because you're the CEO. You cannot work in the business and work on the business at the same time. And your team is what keeps you making money, what keeps your name out front, right? So when you get to that point where excellence is starting to fail, where the operation is not moving in the direction that you want it to, that's when you have to say, okay, how have I prepared for an employee, for someone to come in and take the reins? How have I done that? Have I written business descriptions? What is it? Can I delegate properly because I'm clear about what it is that I want them to do? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself, and then you have to start to prepare for it. You know, when you want somebody to come in to do a job, especially when they're an executive assistant or they're your director of operations, whatever it may be, you've got to set a level of expectation, right? They've got to have a level of expectation, and you have to set one. But if you're not prepared, they'll never be prepared, and they'll never be able to perform for you, right? Awesome. So that's when you know it's time.
That's wisdom right there. Now, you know, we are on the heart. So I hope you did a little research to understand.
I did.
At this moment, At this moment, I wanted to make sure I let you flow in your element.
I
But
know.
you have some other things that are amazing about you as well that I don't know if you get a chance to talk about as much. So we definitely talk about it over here. And that is an amazing feat of being over 10 years married, right?
Yeah, so actually this year we're celebrating our 10-year anniversary.
Woo!
Hey, I'm so
Hey,
excited.
that's it
Next
right
month.
there.
Yes, and I'll tell you. So my husband, he works a 9 to 5, and we are very different in that, right? So he doesn't understand entrepreneurship. I don't understand some of the things that he goes through,
All right.
right? So let's be honest. In the beginning, because we got married later in life, okay?
Yeah, your
I was
business was your first partner.
That's right. That's
Right.
right.
I just wanted to
And,
put that
and,
out
and
there
I will
for
tell
everybody
you,
listening. That's real.
Byron, let's be real here. I am a workaholic. I'm an overachiever.
Right.
Let's be real, right? Let's lay it on the table.
Put it out there.
But my husband is as well. He's very committed to his career, right? Right. And I remember when we were dating, he said, we're going to have to coordinate our calendars, right? We're going to have to and we do Saturdays, regardless. If I'm out of town, I'm on a plane back. Saturday is our day. We spend Saturday together, right? Because you have to be intentional about the love that you want in your relationship.
Mm.
And it was difficult in the beginning because he had a certain way of running his household. I'm a mom, I'm a caregiver. So I have a lot of responsibility, right? So I had a certain way that I ran my household. And so initially we're butting heads, right? Arguments flying, right? And there was a moment that I'll never forget where my husband sat me down because we were almost at a breaking point.
Mm.
And he said, I love you. I want this relationship, but what do you want?
Mm.
It's not every day in a relationship when someone says to you, what do you want?
What do you want?
Right?
Yes.
So, here I am, badass CEO,
Right.
right?
Just bad.
When
With
it
your
comes
bad
to the
self. Right.
business, yeah, I can tell you anything. That stopped me in my tracks, right? Because I love this man. I want this relationship. It's beautiful. We've known each other since we were 6 years old. Okay.
Mm.
We
That's
both,
good.
and we never dated. We never dated. We were just friends. And so to get to this point, I said, God, let me be specific in what it is that I want. And so I took a weekend and wrote down, I got a really good friend. Renee said, hey, you don't know what you want. That's the problem. You got to go get with God, meditate, pray on this thing, write it down. And I did. And I was so specific. Believe it or not, it was like 3 pages worth of stuff. And I prayed over it, I folded it up, and I put it in the Bible. But what it did, it gave me clarity. One, on who I am, what was I bringing to the table?
Yes.
Who is he and what is he bringing to the table? Sometimes we're so busy looking at what we want from the other person that we forget to look at who we are. What's the value in being in a relationship with me? Right? We've got to ask ourselves those questions. And so here we are, years later. You would never know if I don't tell you that that was our issue at one time. That was a challenge for us. But we had to grow. Wisdom and age is something, right?
It is.
And I will tell you, I have grown leaps and bounds when it comes to relationships. And I could not imagine being with another person when you can visually see. I always ask people, where do you see yourself in your business? Question is, where do you see yourself in your relationship? Because it's the foundation for everything.
It is. It is.
Right?
When you have bad relationships, literally it affects every other part of your life.
It does. You can't concentrate. You don't feel good, right? Your thoughts are just scattered all over the place. And I will tell you, I'm successful because my thoughts aren't scattered all over the place. I'm not wondering about what is my husband doing. I know what he's doing. We communicate, we laugh, we talk. You got to figure out what's your thing that you all enjoy and doing together. We did that. And I'll tell you a funny story. A lot of people don't know this. When we were dating and he had asked me to marry him. So, I said yes, we separated. So one day we're on the phone and I'm like, so what are you doing? Where are you going? He's like, well, I know I didn't tell you, but I smoke cigars. I want to go. And in his mind, he thought this is going to be a deal breaker because she probably hates cigars, right? And I said, oh, that's cool because I smoke cigars too. And he was like, no way, right? So that's kind of our thing that we do together, you
I
know,
love
and
that.
we both are connoisseurs and we like to think we're aficionados when it comes to that. But you got to find what works for you and understand each other's love language.
I think that's beautiful. I think the part of that story that stands out the most is that sometimes people are so afraid to expose
Yes.
who they are. And it
Yeah,
was in that transparency and vulnerability that you actually found more of a connecting place.
we did.
That's beautiful. And I think to your point in business, to translate it back, is that people aren't transparent enough in their business. Like
Yeah,
they aren't themselves. They
yeah.
try to be someone else. And in relationships,
That's
as in business, you have to be as authentic as
wow.
possible. How did you find your authentic voice in your
Ooh,
business
great
and
question.
in your relationship?
So it started early. I'm blessed in a lot of ways. My parents, especially my father, would always say, I want to hear what you have to say.
Mm.
Sometimes, you know, your father is always that big force, right? And so you kind of second guessing what you want to say. And I would kind of cower back a little bit. And he'd say, no, I don't want you to do that. If you
Mm.
have something to say, I want to hear what you have to say. Now, I'll tell you, I left home at 17 and I knew I wanted more. And someone gave me the book Think and Grow Rich. And so this was the first thing outside of the Bible, okay? This was the first book where it really gave me something to think about, right?
Yes.
In regards to who I wanted to be, but not only that, who was around me.
Mm.
Because that in that book is where you really begin to discover the power of masterminding,
It
okay?
is. Ooh.
Right? And so I'm starting to look at my friends. What are they doing? What are they interested in? Well, you know what? They're not really interested in what I'm interested in. And so I began to get involved with positive mental attitude books because I wanted more than what I was seeing around me.
Mm.
And I was willing to go out and figure out, how do I become a better person? How do I become the person that other people will want me to be in their circles or
Right.
gain and glean knowledge and information? I am a researchaholic, right? I mean, if you want to be an expert, it takes hours upon hours. And that was important to me very early in my life. At the age of 20, I enrolled in Toastmasters International. And so there were things that, even though my friends weren't doing it at that time in my early 20s, I wanted it. And I knew I wanted to be more at my core.
That's it.
Yeah. You
Booyah.
got to know it, man. You got to feel it. And you can't be afraid of what other people say. You know, I was young and I could have allowed my peers to stop me from going after my dreams, for wanting to be more. Yeah, they said things that weren't cool at the time, you know, but God told me something different, right? And entrepreneurship is the most faith-based journey you will ever take. One
Completely.
day, right, you're up in the clouds, it's all good. Next day, you're on your knees. You're laying flat, right? Tears streaming down your face, asking, why am I even doing this? Why am I even doing this?
Mm.
And I was so convinced that I was walking in my purpose because I knew at 8 years old when somebody asked me, what did I want to be when I grow up? And I said, I'm going to own my own business. And they would just laugh at me. They would laugh at me.
It's interesting. Those same people laugh and work on a job where somebody had to have faith for that.
Yes,
And we forget that the faith, you're working in someone else's faith. That's why
that's right.
you haven't been able to really hone in on your own, because the more you work in someone else's faith and don't work on your own, yours gets diminished.
That's right.
And you have to, I say this about love too. People watch other people and they see successful marriages like yours. And don't think I'm letting you get off the hook on your marriage. We're gonna go back to it. But but they see other people's marriages and they say, oh, that's because of X or Y or Z. And they make excuses as to why their own love life can't manifest in the way that they want it. But a lot of that has to do with the work that they put into it and the faith that they exercise each day.
Yes.
With your relationship, what has been one of the most powerful things that you've been able to do to make sure that the two of you, with all your differences and all of your unique aspects, that you've been able to do to make sure that 9 to 5 entrepreneur are able to work together and make the love remain?
So it started in the beginning of the relationship. The first thing we did was we got counseling. And I knew that because this is my second marriage, I needed someone that I could be equally yoked with. Right? We skip over that.
Yes.
Equally yoked meaning, what do you believe in? Because what you believe in is who you are at your core. So I asked, the beautiful thing was I had seen him, from a child, right?
Right.
Knew his mom, his dad, sister. So I knew what he believed in. So I understood at the foundation of who we were equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he knew that too. He had been married before. He knew that was something that was important to him. And so when you're in crisis, you got to have something that you can fall back on. And so the one thing that holds us together is our faith.
Yes.
Right? A threefold cord is not easily broken.
That's the truth.
Right? So it's Anders, myself, and God from day one. Right? And it will always be that way. Because what I'm clear about is that we have influences that come for us every day.
Every
right?
single day.
You're out there, I'm out there, he's out there, right? Things happen. But see, the trust is there. You have to build and earn trust. And he's shown me that. And I've shown him that. Listen, I'm all over the world. I'm traveling all different places, right?
Yes.
But the accountability is there. You have to have accountability in a relationship.
That's good.
Right? And I think that because at our age, we're like, look, I don't have time to hold on to what I'm feeling. One, I might forget. But, and I say that jokingly.
But it's true.
But it's true. So when something happens, respectfully, and I say respectfully, because I do not call my husband out of his name, and he does not call me out of my name, right? If the conversation is exacerbating, we step back.
Yes.
You take a deep breath, right? And you recenter. Because when you lose respect for each other, that's a dangerous road that you're going down. And if you have to interact in that way, you don't have a relationship.
That's real. That's 100 right there. That's
If I gotta call you, if I gotta talk to you nasty to get my point across, we don't have a relationship. I have never called my husband out of his name. He's never called me out of mine. And we will maintain that as long as we're together. One, because there's no need for it. We're both educated adults. We both are respectful of one another's time and space, right? And I want to be in his space and he wants to be in mine. My husband is still the leader. I don't care how much money I make. He's still the leader in this house. All right? He's the king in this house. I'm the queen. I support him.
Yes.
All right.
Either way, those are still two thrones. Okay? Two thrones.
Yes. And here's the thing. Just like you got to have job descriptions, you got to know your roles and responsibilities in the relationship.
Thank you.
Okay?
I say that to everybody. I don't care what the orientation is. You got to have defined roles that make sense to the two of you.
That's right. And you got to be honest about it, right? So I think what we miss is that we're so busy paying attention to what other people are doing in their households that we're forgetting to pay attention to what's going on in our own households. And so you got to know what you're willing to deal with, what you're willing to tolerate. And I set a high level, and so did he. And I love that. I love that, right? That I didn't want any more or less than he did. And so because we were clear about that and we communicated that, I think that's what keeps the love. That's what keeps us going, right? If I don't like something, I don't have to feel that I can't say that to him, that I can't express myself, that, oh, that's going to put us in a different place. And now I got to walk on ice, ice in my own house, not going to happen.
I love that. If there was one thing that you could right now in your relationship ask someone like myself who focuses on love and relationships, what would be one thing with your current relationship that you would ask?
How do you keep things fresh?
Oh, that's good. You know, so there's a few ways to think of that. For somebody who, like my partner, very clean, like the cleanest person I know, reminds me of my aunt, who you could go in her house and literally eat off the floor because it was that clean, right?
Yes.
I do believe that there has to be intentionality. You mentioned that word earlier, and it has to really, systems and flows happen so naturally in our lives. We are creatures of habit, and we unintentionally slip into habits and frameworks that will cause the relationship to get a little cold. And it's not that it's not working, it's just that it gets cold, it goes stale. So the only way to bring it back is to disrupt it.
That's right.
It's to literally disrupt the relationship with something unique, something brand new. I love to use this example for people who are single, people who feel like they have a type. And this works the same way in logic. That if you have one type and your type, let's say, is the beach, that you think that all you want is the beach because you're accustomed to the beach. You grew up on the beach. That's what you do, and it works well, right? That's what works well in your relationship is the beach. But you don't realize that the mountains could not only be equally, but more enticing and inviting than the beach, the thing that's familiar. So it is disrupting your familiarity with one another. It's kind of like what he did with the cigar situation. It is bringing in a reality. The best way to do this is if one of you has a secret hobby, I use the word secret lightly, but a secret idea or hobby or something that was on your mind, it is best to engage that together.
Absolutely.
And explore that in a way where the newness of it is new to you. So it now creates new roots and systems that allow healthy parts of your relationship to filter and flow. So do something you've never done before. If it's jump out of a plane, if it's go to a new location, if it's go to a new resort, if it's eat a new food, it could be something as easily as just going to a new place in your own city. Break the habit, disrupt the system, and you will be able to keep your relationship fresh.
I love that. Thank you. That was some great advice. We tried that maybe about 2 years ago. So, and I was really appreciating what you're saying. I'm a beach girl, right? I like to go to the beach. My husband says on my bucket list, I want to go to Alaska. I'm like, Alaska, it's cold, you know. But I want to tell you, I gave him that trip for Christmas. One, because we tend to buy gifts for people that we like, right? But I wanted to give him something that I knew he would really like.
Yes.
Now, going into the trip, I was a little nervous because we had a full itinerary, but I want to share this. Even though the trip was for him, when we got into Ketchikan, he had reserved a plane and took me through the glaciers. Mm-hmm. And it was I could be 80 years old or 90 years old and remember that. It was the most thoughtful, romantic gesture. And he was probably more excited just seeing me and my face on a trip that was supposed to be for him, right? That's what love is. That's
the epitome of what love is, because love is not just an expression. It is a presence.
Action.
It is a presence. It is literal being. It is embodiment. It is being able to look. Self-love is being able to look at yourself in a mirror and to love what you see. Loving someone else is being able to look in their eyes and see the love that you have for yourself reflected back to yourself.
Yes.
So for him to be able to bless you when you're trying to bless him is the ability for that love to be mirrored back and forth.
It's reciprocal.
It is reciprocal.
Yeah. And that is why I can see that we'll be together for a long time. Yes.
Come on now. Come on, lifelong love till death do us part.
Till death do us part. That's right.
I love that. You should go if you. I don't know if you're at all a TV watcher. I had a few moments of free time. One of the things I do with my partner, we actually watch a show, brand new show that we've never seen before. It's part of our
Okay.
ritual to try to break into new things.
I
And one
like
of the
it.
shows was Upload on Amazon. Upload. It's a
Okay.
show about after you die, that there is this you upload your consciousness into another reality that you can still interact with people who are living.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so people who their partner passed, they can still interact with them. That's an interesting thing. You and your partner can dialogue about that if you get a chance to watch it, because
Okay.
talk
I'll
about,
have to
we
share
love each
that.
other that much that wow, you gone. Something interesting. I would love for you now to tell us about what you have coming up, what we can expect, and what we should be watching for from you.
All right, a few things. One, Mogul TV. We just started Mogul TV. Listen,
Yes,
I want to share more stories about African American women who are winning in business and just really sharing stories. We learn through stories, right?
we
And
do.
so we do that every Tuesday night on our MogulCon Facebook page. We actually next week will start sharing that on Instagram as well. And then I have the Mogul Guide. So I am about to release next week a webinar because I really want people to get their foundation together. I
Mm,
want them to build systems and processes in their business. So we'll be releasing that. And then we're preparing for MogulCon. This is our 5th year anniversary. And so every week we're meeting, we're getting ready. It's November 5th through 7th here in Atlanta. We're at
yes,
the Whitley, 5-year, 5-star experience, right?
love
And
it.
so we've got so many things planned. We're definitely going to be bringing in really successful entrepreneurs because I want to focus on really understanding the building parts of your business and how to bring in employees.
Mm,
Listen, 95% of African Americans did not receive funding during this pandemic, right? That's serious. We
that's
didn't get
crazy.
the funding. We didn't get the funding, and it's not anybody's fault. You know, a lot of times we want to blame other factors, but I'm going to tell you the truth. A lot of it was because we have these businesses and we don't have our financials in order. We can't pull those reports, right? We're
Yes.
allowing people to write us checks personally within the business. And so we can't prove the money that we make. The taxes aren't being filed correctly. And so when opportunity comes for you to take advantage of monies and things like that, you can't. And so this is a time for us to reset and correct those things.
That
And
is so
so
good.
yeah, I'm excited about it. Listen, it's so simple. They can go to mogulcon.com and just opt in. You can get your 20 mogul moves for free. And then that way you're in our database and we can kind of keep you abreast of what's going on and all the things that we'll be offering.
Let me just tell you again, as I started, I want to conclude that you are an amazingly dynamic woman who deserves
Thank
all the
you.
props you could possibly get. I am proud to see your journey as a Black man to a Black woman.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You just keep on shining, Queen. You just keep on shining. And to
Thank
all of
you.
your followers, they're smart people. You keep on developing moguls. And
That's right.
we need to talk offline because I got an idea for brothers that I
All
probably
right.
got some thoughts off of you.
I
So,
love to. And
yeah,
listen, thank you for having me on your platform. I think it's beautiful that you're focusing on relationships because we got to rebuild our community and we need strong ties, strong relationships. We need to be able to love each other unconditionally. And if we
yes.
don't talk about it, we can't be about it, right?
That's it. The core of especially the Black community is connections and
That's right.
relationships. And
That's right.
we do well, we do best, not just well, we do best when we are united. And
Yes, we do.
we can't be as fractured and as individualistic as we have been as a community. And I do believe that if we can have healthy relationships as far as partnerships and love, then we can practice that with other people next door.
Keep doing what you're doing, spreading love and spreading your message.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yes.
you for being you. And to all of your followers, keep following this young lady. She's got so much more in her. And be
Yes.
blessed, my dear. We'll be praying for you, and we'll be
Thank
talking
you.
soon. All right, I'll be reaching out.
All right. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Go in peace and blessings to you. Much love.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.